We are now item 4, which is public comments. We would respectfully ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please come to the podium when I call your name, and if you would be so kind as to identify yourself and your address, and we'll go from there.
For the third consecutive year in the month of January, black residents and stakeholders of this city, the nation's oldest city, have made our way before this commission, attempting to appeal to your humanity. As tempting as it is, obviously, is to show your loyalty to those who have chosen to modify history by romanticizing the Confederacy. You also have an obligation to the black residents, stakeholders, and visitors. Just like the amended 13th, 14th, and 15th portion of the Constitution, your oath and office also call for you to represent the black community with an equitable degree of care and concern. I'm confident that if this was Nazism or Nazi symbols exalted in our town plaza on public property and the Jewish community raised concern, you would show the ability to lead and respect the humanity of others. But apparently when those others are so obviously different because of skin tone, this commission appears to struggle with tough decisions. Those men and preservers of slavery were quite possibly soldiers. But for the plight of black folk, they were definitely not heroes. In closing, when their and I guess your ancestors show up this summer for their 2020 Sons of the Confederacy reunion in St. Augustine to celebrate the support they have received from this commission, be assured that the ancestors and friends of those that the Confederacy fought to enslave and oppress will meet them in the town square, which some still call the slave market. Believe it or not, but I truly believe that if you search deep within yourselves, you can find the strength to provide equitable leadership in personally difficult times. We've been coming, and we will continue to come. When you stand on the side of what's right, you can't allow others that are refusing to recognize your humanity to tell you no and then walk away.
Raised here in St. Augustine, and I'm appalled that we as a diverse community of people can't see how this monument statement to all who live here and those who visit is that the city of St. Augustine holds in high esteem and support honoring those who committed treason against the United States of America. And no matter who or what we honor, we should always make sure we tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So it's my third time coming down and looking into the ladies and gentlemen's faces. I appeal to you to realize the fact that I sat here and I watched how tentatively you listened to the speakers, whether it was representing monuments or whatever community resolved. But for some reason, you're listening in one ear when it comes to the Confederate monuments, and you're holding it in that other ear for whatever reason. You're listening, but you're not willing to justify your actions. Things have changed. There's no instant replay button that we can go back and replay what happened. But you have the obligation and the opportunity to make a change.
That we're saying are truthful. Reverend Rawls has been here being the drum major in our city to enlighten our people of what is going on. And I thank God for him. I thank God for him talking with you guys, trying to get understanding. And as long as you guys don't get understanding, we're going to come back so that we can educate you on how we feel personally. This is our city as well.
As commissioners, that's what I feel like you guys can do. It's a simple process. It's not hard. It's deplorable already that we have to pay for a monument that didn't want our ancestors to be free. And it's very dishonest to know that we have people that's supposed to be thinking about the citizen of this city that don't see the need to change it. One, because the world is changing. Two, because it's the right thing to do. I don't understand why 3 years we have to still have this conversation. My prayer is that you guys humble yourself. We all humble ourselves, and don't make this a pride issue. It's not about pride. It's just simply about doing the right thing. Everybody lives here. I live here, you live here. You want your voice to be heard, I want my voice to be heard. I want my city to reflect me just like you want your city to reflect you. And no one should feel uncomfortable, especially when you're paying money for your city. Your tax dollars are going into your city. Thank you.
This is our third consecutive year coming before the Commission and requesting that you do the honorable and unselfish act of removing your Confederate monument from its pedestal in our town plaza. The influence of white supremacy, which is now known as white nationalism, continues to promote and glorify lies and false narratives simply by rewriting historical facts, alternative facts, if you will, in our modern language. The facts, though, are black and white, readily evident in the words that formulated the Constitution of the Confederacy. Not the United States, but the Confederate States of America. I want to take you to Article 1, Section 9(4) of said Constitution, which states, and I quote, "No bill or law denying or impairing the right of the property in Negro slaves shall be passed." The Confederacy waged war against the United States of America to preserve its right to continue a system of slavery. And if it had won, slavery in America would have continued undaunted.
And this commission chooses to use tax dollars from the descendants of slaves to promote and glorify symbols of white supremacy and the Confederacy that has been conveniently redefined as and whitewash,
Our city and its plaza, when they visit, they deserve to be taught an accurate accounting of historical facts. These men, and these are the facts, these men may have been soldiers, but they were definitely not heroes deserving of a pedestal in public spaces in this city, supported with our tax dollars. So I want to close with this question to my commission. Is it healthy to promote and glorify a lie and a false narrative?
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Back and restate my question. Is it healthy to promote and glorify a lie, a false narrative? Thank you.
To understand that this bothers us. It bothers us that you would make a decision consecutively about something that harms us. It actually harms us to feel this way, that more than the statues are just a symbol, but for people to actually say, I don't see a problem with it. Why can't you just look at history and see that there's a problem with that in all of America? Why are they coming down in certain states? Why are they coming down? Why do we still have them here? Like it was said a few minutes ago, it's coming in one ear, and for whatever reason you're deciding to hold on. I don't want to think that you're holding on to it because you agree that racism is alive and well, and we're going to keep it that way. Thank you.
Time resident here. I'm also a disabled veteran. You know, I'm not going to repeat what everybody else said because y'all already know. Y'all know what's going on around here. I'm going to tell you a quick little story that happened because it's my third time too, and y'all hearing it, and ain't nobody about half asleep up there. But anyway, I took an ambassador riding around in this town, And he said, take me down. I'm going to show you something, young brother. Take me downtown. He took me around some areas, and he said it's a shame when he seen those monuments. He took me around and showed me all the buildings in St. Augustine. He said, all they did here in St. Augustine, I've been gone 50 years. All they did is paint the building. So I'm asking
to promote and glorify a lie and a false narrative. The answer should be no, but the influence of white supremacy chooses to promote and glorify lies and false narratives simply by rewriting historical facts. The facts are black and white in the Constitution of the Confederate States of America without question in Article 1, Section 9, 4, which says no bill or law denying or impairing the right of property and Negro slaves shall be passed. The Confederacy went to war against the United States of America to preserve its rights to continue a system of slavery, and if it had won, slavery in America would have continued status quo. But they lost, and this commission chooses to use tax dollars from the descendants of slaves to promote and glorify symbols of white supremacy and the Confederacy that has been conveniently redefined and whitewashed. This is our third consecutive year coming before this commission and requesting that you do the honorable and unselfish act of removing your Confederate monument from its pedestal in our town plaza. When our children visit our city, they deserve to be taught an accurate accounting of historical facts. These men may have been soldiers, but they were definitely not heroes deserving of a pedestal in public spaces in this city. Thank you.
Have any other cards? If there's anybody else that would wish to address the commission at this time during the general public comment. Seeing no one, then the public comment section is closed.
Mayor?
Yes.
May I make a comment before the audience
Please,
leaves?
absolutely.
I'd just like to make I listened to the citizens talk tonight, and I have been on the record as being in favor of moving the monument. I agree with the speakers in that I see a problem when I hear that our residents, our people come and tell us that they hurt when they come downtown. And I have to ask the questions, don't we want everyone to feel welcome in the heart of our town, in our most symbolic civic space? So I'm asking, and I'd love to have a discussion with you about this, what will it take for us to see the need to make a change to move the Confederate monument from the heart of the plaza? Not to destroy the monument, but to move it to what I would view as a more appropriate place. That is my question to you.